Hey everyone, welcome to the Heart of David. Today's video is about, I hope everyone is doing well. Sabbath is today, not yet, but today. Today's video topic is about, I'm just going to say it's about people who have been in a narcissistic relationship of any kind. But when you get to the point that, they know that you know. So I will get to that, but I want to cover more than that. So that will probably come, I have difficulty speaking just in case you didn't know, more towards the end. I'm not the best person at explaining this topic. Sure, I've learned a lot about it, and I've been through a lot. I don't know, I'm just not the best person at explaining it. And so here we go, right? Actually, before I start and get into this topic, I wanted to talk about, just very quickly, stuff that's happening in, well, it's all over the world, but it's over in North America, right? It's these protests. Well, we're finding out very quickly, and I think it's really coming to light just how much all these protests like BLM, this, right? So these people are supporting terrorism. They're finding out that many of these people who are actually spurring on the worst of it are paid. They're paid by people like George Soros. Are they paid by China? Likely. So it's just coming to light because it's on social media. Because as bad as social media is, it's also bringing other things to light. That this has been going on forever. You know, like, let's just take, and I don't want to talk about it, like say January 6th, right? Let's say the left doesn't, the left wants to make them look really bad, so they hire people to go and cause some damage so they can say something against them. Anyways, this is what's happening, and they know it. You can see from Eric Adams, I think that's his name, the mayor of New York, what he said yesterday in his briefing. Pretty telling. So anyways, this is what's going on in the world right now. So when you see it getting really, really bad, just know that it likely isn't that bad. It's just people being paid to do that. So they know, like George Soros, they know that $13 million was given. I guess they're able to calculate money going out from this bank or being funneled into something else. But all right. One of the reasons why, okay, so I'll tell you very quickly. I'm going to have to take breaks every once in a while because of my voice. I never know how it's going to be. I get throat contractions. It's like a dystonic type disorder. It's the same type of thing. I was at a very low point in my life when I moved in here. I didn't really have pain diagnosis. I had pain for nearly 20 years, very serious intractable pain. And my doctors were specialists. Everyone I saw were negligent for not diagnosing me. I went down a very bad path. It led to very bad places. And I suffered a lot. But thanks to Yahweh, I ended up getting everyone but 2 of them. But those 2 are still recognized. They're just very hard to diagnose, to get someone to diagnose, because they're very rare. So I moved in here, and I was very sick. I live alone. I had a lot to take care of. Okay, now with my back, it's torn upper and lower back. That would make 13 pain disorders that I have. So it was very tough. I didn't have that I was not feeling good psychologically because of stuff like that, because I didn't have proper pain control. Not knowing you have the worst painful diseases on earth was pretty destructive in my mind. So I didn't feel really all the best about my own self. So I tried to write this down. So I was in a spot, where, when I make this, okay, I have a heart. I care for people. I care for how people are going to be affected. This is the type of thing that a narcissist counts on. They don't want you to talk about them. They don't want you to talk about the bad things that they did to you. They're worried that it will actually get to them. But don't worry. I don't say names. If it ever gets to the point where someone tries to get to the point where they're trying to intimidate me to a certain point, sure, I will. Yes, I will. Because you're not supposed to let people do that, right? But don't give these people any attention that they don't deserve. Because look what they did to you. So I was in a really bad state, and I didn't have much to live for. I didn't have much. If you've seen my other videos. But I was starting to get the hang of things anyways, despite the pain that I had in my legs and my lower back and my neck and my shoulders. I remember not meeting a woman. There was two women I met online from my previous high school, and one was extremely nice. And she actually ended up committing suicide from what I believe was a drug reaction. Very unfortunate. She was very nice. She was always very nice to me. And around that time, I was just getting into the Bible. So that was it was maybe 5 years ago now. And, it's like looking at stuff, like I said a long time ago. Looking at like Joyce Meyer, Joseph Prince, I'm like, these people don't even talk about Jesus. Like, what is this? That's when I started to learn and started to read the Bible. But I wondered this. Now I can talk about it fine. I have trouble in the beginning of my videos. You know why? Because I have difficulty speaking. And I never know how bad it's going to be because I don't talk to myself, right? And I live alone, so sometimes it can be very hard to express myself. So yes, I was lonely. Yes, I was a believer. I wasn't born again though. And because I still had a mind of sin. I hadn't repented. I hadn't done any of that stuff. Pardon me. So that woman took her life, and kind of shocked me. But I met another woman at that time who had gone to my junior high school, maybe part of high school, and I remember she was a very attractive woman. I didn't know her, but so many of my friends knew her and stuff like that. But I had never seen her since that time, right? And I'll tell you this is what I can't, it's very hard to piece together your past, what happened that meant that long ago, why it happened, but I can take my guesses. So I met her around that same time. What I mean is met online, started talking on the phone. I only met this person 3 times, but as long as I talked to this person was for almost 2 years, right? On the phone every single night, during the day, and if it wasn't during the day, it was a lot of texting, a lot. a lot of time put into that. And I wonder, after that woman had taken her life, I think it was around the same time that I was speaking to her. It had to have been, because I believe we were talking about it. But the night before that woman took her life, I had my first sleep paralysis dream. My first sleep paralysis dream. And I wondered this. Is it possible that because I decided to start looking for Yahweh, that he sent me a satanic agent? Is that possible? Because Satan knew where the possibilities in me. Is that possible? Because here I am, born again. I was in a place where I had been bedbound and couchbound and in complete misery for a decade, longer than that. But what I mean is like immobile, an immobile hell, where I couldn't even breathe properly. I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking. I'm not going to get into that, but so I started to get sleep paralysis around that time. So was it because I met this woman? It seemed to go pretty good in the beginning, but is that not just the way? And I'll tell you something that, you may say, well, you don't know that, but I do. I'm a very good judge of character in person. If the things that this person did to me in person, it would never last. Never. I don't know why I put up with this. But, and I shut them down. I blocked them a number of times, only to have messages come back. Please come back. Please come back. This is why. This is why. Okay, I come back. And then all of a sudden they try to turn it on me. You blocked me. You did this. You're a baby blocker. Like calling me names and stuff. When it was them who was doing all this dramatic stuff, bringing drama into my life. I'm not a dramatic person. Maybe I used to be a foolish person, like I like joking around and stuff like that, but I wasn't like that. Love bombing. There was a ton of it. Okay, there was a ton of it. There were many red warning signs, and of course they're watching this video, right? Of course they're watching this video. Multiple fathers, just like, I'm just going to say the red warning. The red warnings. You know them. Saying I love you within 2 weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks. But it was love bombing. And that's what got me. And obviously the conversations that we had and all that stuff were, of a nature that made me, it was just mirroring myself. It was mirroring the things that they think that I like, or that, you know what I mean by that. Give me another break here, and I'm just gonna. Give me a second. To be honest, I get so many contractions in my, just like swallowing, and I just have to give it a break. I can't tell you how frustrating this is, and this is one of the reasons, like, obviously this person wanted to see me a lot more, and one of the reasons why, like, I saw them a few times and not even for long, was because, like, listen, I didn't even have my diagnosis until 21 and 2022, a whole bunch of them. And I would say maybe a bit ashamed, but, I was in a physical shape that I didn't feel good enough about myself. The other was that, like I don't sit down. Okay, I don't sit down for long periods of time at all. I'm very uncomfortable, like shifting, and I get pretty breathless after a while sitting down. It's not cardiac. And speaking, right? Like, you're around someone speaking. I have to take a lot of breaks, and it's not easy. Some people you're around, all they do is talk. That's what some people do, and then I feel forced to. So, anyways, I was in that position. I've had girlfriends before, but since all this happened to me, it's just not been the same. That's all right. You know what? I say to myself, Yahweh is good enough. Not to say that I wouldn't ever meet a born again woman. If Yahweh wants to send one my way, then I wouldn't say that I would deny that person. So, but I don't know, like. So I'm trying to put this together properly and structurally. I suppose after a while I started to notice, like, there were comments, little cuts, covert cuts here and there, and it was just like after a while, what they try to do is break you down. Suddenly you start losing interest in other things, and they want you to give all your time. You know me, right? I'm always working on a project. I'm always exercising, going out for walks, and I still, of course, did those things, but my interests were in doing things like making, like wood hobby, whatever else I'm doing, it went down. And I'm sure you can identify with that, because all you can think about is that you start having trouble sleeping when they say certain things, underhanded comments, cuts. They'll say a comment like if you do something good, and like if you have an accomplishment of any kind. I remember one day I'm like, I'm writing my, it was right before I found out all my diagnosis. I'm going to write my autobiography. Okay, so I did my autobiography. I sell that on Amazon. I don't put that on here because I don't sell myself. And by the way, I am giving food to the poor, and I leave a donation link in every one. I don't take a single penny. I just go and buy the food. If you would like to donate to that, but what was I going to say? So interests were weighing, and so I was going to write my autobiography. I remember exactly. I've been writing it, and I've been writing out all the points of my life first, so I can write all the points and then start writing chapters and stuff. Sorry. And I remember saying to her, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to talk to you till later this afternoon. And she just totally went off on some tirade, just like a baby. Like, okay, I'm going to write this, okay? It's like, this is what they do to you. They should be cheering you on. But I wrote it anyway. What they do is they bring you down about those types of things. But when you're done, when everyone else is saying, good for you, Dave, they feel they have to join in to take part of the glory, right? As if it's glory. It's not glory. I just wanted to tell my life story after a lot of suffering. So, I remember there were so many fights, arguments, debates. The entire time that we spoke, it was never on the phone. Never. Because she didn't talk to me that way on the phone. We'd get off the phone, and I'd get off the phone and it'd be like, okay, that was great, I really liked that. Then I would get off, and then all of a sudden there'd be a message, like it would be bad. You know the way they are. You know the way, because they have too much anxiety to approach you and tell you. Sorry, that's just like a child, just tell me in person. What's your problem? That's why I say in person it would never happen. And every time I wanted to speak at a problem, usually at the beginning it worked. I would call them right away if there was a problem. I would call her right away if there was a problem. And I would say, what's going on here? I don't understand this. It was just a game. One day, I thought, okay, this person has, there's a disorder it's a personality disorder. And it's one that they cause drama all the time. I forget what the name is. I'm very good at these types of things in psychological disorders. I've read over the DSM, I've looked over all these things. These are just interests that I have. I come from a medical family, and so that kind of stuff interests me. And I don't think I was incorrect. It was constant drama. And so I read it, and it said to if this is happening, to confront them about it, ask them kindly. And so I said, is this, I believe this could be a possibility, because all you're ever doing is causing drama in my life. So I did the right thing then. I did confront them. They later said that really hurt them. But if it hurt them, then it hurt them. There's nothing I can do about that, because that was their actions. That's exactly what they were doing, and it was just never stopping. So the next part that I really noticed was this, that this what I'm telling you here needs to be told to other people. You say, well, David, this is the heart of David. This is a born-again Christian channel. Well, what I'm telling you right now is a pandemic worldwide, whether you know it or not. I don't care what you think anyways, because people need to hear this, because we have now God taken out of the school, prayers, all this. People love themselves. They're all narcs. They're not all narcs. There's a lot of them. I hope this comes by you so it teaches you. Watch out for all the warning signs. I can't tell you them all offhand. You're going to have to go and search them out yourself. They're easily, readily available. And all this was happening, and when I was finding out what this person truly was right when the Amber Heard trial was happening. I'm like, this Amber Heard trial is from God, is from Yahweh. At the point in time when everything's just starting to change. Sorry, I have to eat, and I'm also moving along here. I don't expect to make this so long. I didn't, but I am still going to talk, so just give me a sec, because I'm eating. I'm going to go open my window. It's a nice day. There was something that was happening to me that never happens to me. And I asked Yah, I said, why does this keep happening to me? Every time I would get annoyed at this person because of the stuff that they were doing to me, I was bumping into things. I'd be really mad. I was bumping into things. I'm like, why am I always bumping into things? I'm like, I know it's because of this person. One night, and this is associated with what I just said, one night I said, I was so fed up with this person that I said, please, Yah, give me a sign. This is before, I don't ask him for signs now, but at the time, if this person is bad for me, I'm not kidding you, within half an hour, what happened? I opened up my door to look out my door for one reason or another, and my neighbor happened to be right in front of my door, right? I don't know, like he was jogging around, he was like out of breath, and he stopped at my door to take a rest. And I opened it just at that time. And when he heard me open up the door, he went, like, boo, and it scared me, and I flinched so much that I tore my neck. I have a sternocleidomastoid, torn sternocleidomastoid, never heals, and a trapezial neuralgia, it's torn in here. So these are permanent. So what happens is, if I flinch too hard, it sets it off. It set it off. I felt so angry at him for, I know it's not his fault, but what happens is I get severe burning and aching here, and it'll last for at least 3 hours. That happened almost immediately after I asked God, give me a sign if it's bad for me. I'm not kidding you. That actually happened. There was something that happened between us. I'm not going to say here, but something happened. I'll just say we were supposed to meet, but we didn't because of a big fight, and they were never supposed to come here, but they did anyways. Because of that, they started to, on purpose, to treat me silent treatment, to do the silent treatment on me and do all that type of stuff. You know exactly what I mean. All of a sudden, breadcrumbing and all that type of stuff, it was purposeful because they felt hurt. But it was them doing every single thing. A lot of people put up with that type of stuff for a long time. I didn't. It was about in total 5 months. This is when you start writing page-long stuff, right? Why is this? Why is that? You're trying to defend yourself about every single thing. But my personality is stronger than this. But I admittedly went through hell. Stronger than hers. I started to notice and see something. It wasn't like she still was speaking, but just every once in a while to breadcrumb. I said, I'm not going to take this person as I can't say that as a born-again Christian. I started to see them. This is when I was getting into tarot. This is, I've said in my stories. Remember, this is a long time ago, and I kind of knew it was wrong, but I was so wanting to know what was going on. This is before I was really into the Bible, really studying it. And I'm not kidding you. And I heard another person's story who matched mine. I'm not trying to justify it, but I heard another person's story that they went through the same thing and found the truth through that. And I'm not kidding you. These tarot things were telling me that they were a narc, that they were doing all these things on purpose. And not that I trusted that those things were real, but I was already searching into that stuff. And I knew in my heart. So what I did was I waited 2 weeks longer, and they went longer and longer, suddenly they start talking to me more because I'm not speaking. I reversed the silent treatment on them. That's what I did, right? Suddenly, oh, I miss you, I this, I that, because they're getting worried in their head because of validation. Just messed up stuff. It was a bit tough to not want to go back and talk, but you know what? I would look at her profile picture. Never again will I go on Facebook for messaging, for selling things to do, whatever, do those type of things. Sure. Never again will I go on social media sites because of her. I started to look at her picture and I was just like, you know, like, I see what you are. I couldn't believe I didn't see it before. I remember she kept telling me that she had to pay for all types of costs, you know, like it was like talking about teeth, but I remember it was in such a way that she kept telling me all of these different expenses. Okay? I felt that she was telling me that because she wanted me to help her. You know, there are ways they have of doing that. I'm not saying that's true, but I saw it there, and I saw the ugliness, and I decided I'm never going to talk to you ever again, right there. That's when they knew that I knew, and no coming back. There's no coming back from that. There's absolutely no coming back from that. You know, the country song, you turn the record backwards, you start getting everything back. Well, that's what began to occur. Not only that, it was almost as if Yahweh was blessing me. Now, I tell this story because you've likely gone through it. And the epitome of what I say right here is why. Because many psychologically narcissistic abuse and physical come to Christ, refined through a fire. No longer do we feel the necessity to have somebody justify us. I'm not going to look to someone else for justification for me to feel good. The only one who justifies me is God. You know, as Paul the Apostle says, I don't even judge myself. Sorry. So what happened? So of course what started happening, I started getting all these crank calls trying to assert their dominance or just want to hear my voice or whatever they're doing. It's like, you go ahead and do that, right? I don't know if there's much you can do because there's, you know, they call from, you know, you can go on Google, anyone can get a fake number, okay? But, you know, the reality is, don't ever go and do that. Don't be like them. You have to hire somebody, okay? If you ever want to find them and charge them, which is something, by the way, that who knows, maybe they would even want. They'll call you a gazillion times, and you wonder who is on that, who keeps crank calling you. Don't second guess yourself, you know who it is. Keep all your emails. Keep everything. Because if they try to accuse you of something, well, I've got some emails proving otherwise. You know, I started getting emails like, it was like a borderline. I'm not saying they're borderline, okay? But the messages were. One was good, one was bad. One was good, blaming me for something I didn't even do. The other was bad. It was just bipolar. And it was their way of putting you in this fog. Get away, cut them off, never, cut them off silently, just like I did, and never ever go back. And you wonder why believers in Christ have a hard time finding somebody who was like-minded, who wants to do good with me, who wants to accept me for who I am. Because I'll accept you for who you am if you can accept who I am. All my difficulties that I have, all my good qualities. So what happened from doing this? For 13 and 18 years I went not knowing. I was always being treated for a severe intractable pain. It was acute intractable pain. You should have seen the way I was before I moved in this place. They always treated me, but they never. That was another thing. I felt I was refined through a very big fire. And this is why I'm on these videos in the first place. I didn't have my full body intractable pain from 2003, which I deserved, the pain suicide disease. I didn't get my adhesive arachnoiditis diagnosis for 13 years. It wasn't long after I decided to leave this person that I got my full body RSD, adhesive arachnoiditis. I wrote my book. I got my throat diagnosed. I went in my files and I found two pain disorders. That would be my trapezial neuralgia, my torn neck, and I also have occipital and trigeminal neuralgia. It was from an injury that was hidden in my files that people didn't even tell me. Of course, this was by Yahweh. There was no other way. Suddenly I'm in this position where I've finally written my life story. I don't have this psychological crap going on anymore. This woman is gone, and I've got all my diagnosis. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord, because the Lord is good. And I think I went through all that, and I think a lot of us have to go through this to understand the way people are. Listen, pray for them. Pray for your enemies. When it's the person, right? When it's the person who tried to abuse you, tried to take you down. And there I was, I had a Moderna shot and I had an allergic reaction, and I believe it was myocarditis. I did not have my heart imaged within a year. So I couldn't know for sure. I know my heart was affected. I could barely walk. I got a rare gallbladder disorder in my gallbladder. I can't even put my fingers in there. It feels like I'm having a gallstone all the time. I have to take colic medication all the time, every 4 hours. So this person I was just getting all my diagnosis. I figured that one out on my own, by the way. I had to point it out to them, and then they diagnosed me. What would I say to finish this off? Be careful. Be careful if you're a man, if you're a man or a woman. Be careful of a beautiful woman. Be careful of an attractive man. That means nothing. It means nothing. It's the heart that matters. You're going to have to learn to beat your lust. Beat your lust of how attractive a person is. It doesn't matter. You know, I go outside now, I trick myself because I was a sexual addict, okay? Both in having sex and porn. I'm sure a lot of people, I know a lot of people are like that. Give me a sec. Sorry, I don't mean to be so blunt about sex addict, but I was, and I looked at porn a lot, and I think that's what a lot of people do. I mean, I'm trying to justify myself. Well, they say that, what is it, like 40% of pastors look at porn. Think about that. I had to train myself. This is what I'm saying to you. People say, oh, you're being, Dave, you're being too harsh. You go out and you say, don't look at an attractive woman or man more than twice. So if you see them and you look again, don't look again. People think that's so strict. But if you knew where I was in my life before, it's one of the best rules. Like I said, I do talk to Yahweh about being, I feel lonely for female companionship, but I don't feel lonely like, we all do, right? That are single. How can two walk together, right, and not agree? And it's not to say that you can't marry an unbeliever, because you can surely win them over. But for me, I would just absolutely say no. I wouldn't. After all that, I went through my life with people betraying me. Someone always comes to the door when I do this. With a lot of people betraying me. That was my life. There was a lot of betrayal. And so after a relationship like that, even though it was mostly online and on telephone, it doesn't matter. I got to know that person quite well. Of what I thought, I was probably really just getting to know myself, right? Because of being mirroring. That's what I have to say. Be very careful. Know the warning signs. Know the red warning signs. Be careful, guys. I'm sure there's more I could say. It was just crazy. Like right then, I saw it. They were like telling me, this is how much I paid for my teeth. This is how much I did this. It was like, if one wasn't enough, they just kept telling me all these different costs. And because I had been good to them, okay? I'm not that type of person who says I did this. But I thought, are they actually expecting me to throw money at them right there? And whether that's true or not, I can't say I know. But I felt thoroughly disgusted. Anyways, I hope this edifies someone somehow. It is a biblical topic, and what you're seeing in society is just a society of narcissists. When you look at the elite and the WF, what do you think those people are? They're the very tip of it, and they don't even know it. But be very careful out there. Y'all bless.